Hey, most of you guys know that I'm a old school fan of punk. And one of my preferred bands goes by the title of Bad Religion. They have a co-founder named Brent Gurewitz who said 45 years ago, if you can believe it, 45 years ago said, any organized system of thought is bad religion. That's Brent Gurewitz in 1980. Any organized system of thought is bad religion. The key to this statement are the words system of thought or organized system of thought, meaning systems of thinking that are imposed upon the mind of individual humans. And I would add that this is especially egregious when it comes to religion, especially religion. Another name for the systemization of mind systemization of mind that's operated by an entity outside of an individual is mind control. We also use the term brainwashing. We've heard of those things, which reigns when every person ought to have minds that work independently. God gave us minds that are independent of one another in a free, unencumbered way as a means for us to individually vet and test and challenge and rebel and opine on what is being said and why it should be questioned or dismantled or rebelled against. When groups systematize mind, these are systems of control rather than systems that liberate. Christ came to set the captives free. His mind liberates. The mind of religion does not. There is little room for growth or for genuine change or improvement through systems of control, religious control, again especially, and government. And they are therefore evil because what ought to be open and unbounded is essentially closed off, controlled, and in some way or another dead. That's what happens. It's dead instead of living. A lesser evil, but still controlling, is when systems of religion or government or corporations have organized will. And these, however, are important and even necessary in certain collective earthly environments as we want to compete. And when you want to compete in something, teamwork, united will on a certain project, winning, dominating in sports or whatever, is important. Organized systems of will can effectively work in this world while allowing for freedom of individual thought to exist independently of the common goal of united will. And what I mean by that is you can take a communist and you can take a group of communists and their will toward propagating communism, and you can take a group of capitalists and their will of propagating capitalism, but both groups can have a shared mind that child abuse is horrible. You don't have to control the mind entirely when you are trying to unite the will. So there's nothing wrong with teamwork in this world, but the best teams ought to be free to think so as to encourage liberty when things become too restrictive, individualism, even in the willful pursuit of a common goal. Then there are organized systems of emotions. And these play to the world spirit, the zeitgeist, and the systems of emotions are what the entertainment and arts industry thrive upon. The universal language of music and its appeal to the emotions, for example, can do more to drive a body of individuals more effectively than almost any other external impetus. Music is, the Third Reich understood this. The music is central to combining people emotionally into a common goal. put anything emotional in music or books or film behind an effort requiring organized systems of will, and you have one powerful team. You've got the will of the people, you have the music behind it, and you've got a powerful team. But when you add in a demanded system of thought, you've got yourself the makings of a full-on cult. This is the difference. It's the mind control that makes groups either malignant or benign. So you look at groups and you say, how much of the mind is controlled within that group? That is relative to its bad religion. And all you got to do when you look at mind control is you look at Jonestown, you look at Scientology, you look at the Third Reich, you look at Mormonism, you look at the My Lai experience, you look at all of these things where mind control is at play. The key to preventing something from becoming a malignant cult begins with the liberation of mind, and or the promotion of absolute freedom to think, question, challenge. Therefore, dogmas and demanded doctrines stand contrary to liberty and freedom, no matter how well-intentioned or justified those dogmas are on people's thinking. With all of this said, the place where humans could and should be freely united together is in the collective, unmonitored, uncontrolled by human intervention, and that is a unity of heart. We seek for unity of heart. Unity of heart is a spiritual matter, as hearts can be united by either dark aims or light, but the unity of heart is what makes them freely combined into a collective that works well. True hearts united in faith and love. True hearts united in faith and love. And that is from true seekers of God, no matter what their denomination is. True hearts of faith and love will ultimately lead a more rational semblance of emotion, and will have a better driver of individual and collective will. And if the highest expressions of liberated mind are permitted, Yeshuans, that's what we are, seek people of the same heart, not of the same mind, will, emotion, body, culture, gender, race. We do not unite on any of those factors. None of them. We refuse to. We promote the spirit of the risen Lord, freely governing and guiding all people from the content of their genuine hearts. And we suppose that however he leads such a person, that those unique differences that remain are good. They're not bad and should not be discounted. So we could summarize it all through a simple graphic that looks like this. Are you ready? Here we go. It says, any organized system of thought is bad religion. Organized systems of thought that must be accepted to be, for someone to be deemed acceptable by God or man, as evidenced through their body, will, and emotions, the things they say. Your mind may not be in the complete control, but when your body, will, and emotions are all in harmony with what the mindset is, you're playing along one way or another. Yeshuans, where the heart is, we are about a unity of heart through people who seek to live by faith and by agape love. Unity of hearts and faith and love outside of any doctrine, demanded doctrines, dogmas, or demands upon the mind, will, and emotion of an individual. That is what a Yeshuan is. And that is why we sidle up with anybody from any denomination who within them says, I look for a higher power. And we don't define who that is. We know what we think he is, but we don't impose that. And I seek to live by this love for others that is selfless, sacrificial, and unconditional.
Dear friend, if you want to feel better, don't let the devil make you toss this letter. If you've been crossed up by hoodoo, voodoo, the wizard or the lizard, you got family trouble, man trouble, woman trouble, no light through the rubber. You're looking for a true friend or a true lover, or if you've been living undercover. Well, I'm coming to your town to break it all down and help you with all of this. I'm looking to help you find bliss. One day, a one way, can't miss. I'm here to tear all the walls down. Doesn't matter if it's a large town or a small town. Just like Joshua and the fabled walls of Jericho, I'm here to tear down the institution. But you must tell 7 friends. You must first bring 7 friends. And don't be selfish and keep this all to yourself, and don't eat shellfish. Hate is trying to take someone else's love for yourself. But I'm here to tell you that love is trying to help someone else. You need to see me right away so I can fix this up. You need to see me right away. You need to see me right away so I can fix this up. You need to see me right about now. And if you are suffering a straight sickness, or someone is blocking up all of your success, you need to see me right away so I can fix this. Sounds sincerely yours in faith, love, and peace, your friend Archbishop Harold Holmes.
Hey, y'all. Heart of the matter.
Heart of the matter.
Delaney and Dad, we are bringing the Yeshuan faith message to people who seek God in spirit and truth. You can check it all out at Yeshuans.faith.
Yeshuan. S. That took me a second. Welcome. This is Epiphany. This is your 7th Heart of the Matter series.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Right?
We'll leave Heart of the Matter on Epiphany, and we'll stay in the 7th forevermore. 7 is a good number.
Until it changes.
Until it changes, which it just might.
But I like Epiphany.
Any thoughts? We are doing freeform by the Spirit, whereas in the past we have made sure everything was to the letter so as to have it on hand. But now we are going based off what we've learned, stand upon, and do. Any thoughts on last week's Heart of the Matter, where we spent an hour and 50 minutes talking about fangs?
About the LDS.
Yes.
Which I think we'll continue to talk about tonight.
Definitely.
We go topically, and based on that introduction, there's a lot to correlate to the LDS with what you said in that.
Can I start off by asking, what do you think of the line, Mormonism is good, but it's not true?
To me, it's very obvious. It's like, what does that need to be said? But I think it's clearly does need to be said, because many people have been like, how is that possible with you? So I'm having to face my own like disconnect with how most people work, I guess. But I think that is at the core of the Yeshuan message, is identifying that good and evil are like tools for religion to control rather than truth, which is a murky thing sometimes. And,
especially in this world.
Yes, not in the eternities, but when we're trying to figure it out, it's really convoluted. So
standard fare for LDS people is we're so good, how could we not be true? And it's Twinkies
always,
are good.
It's the thing where it's like, I have these Mormon neighbors, they're the nicest people I know. I have this, they're always the best. Like, the goodness of people is what convinces us that they're onto something true.
Right.
So it is at the core of like human nature to think
That's why
that
it's a
way.
super smart model.
Yeah.
You know, and because Christianity has been redefined by many people as what is good, instead of what is true.
Yeah.
Christianity can parlay right up next to the LDS Church because they're so good, and that's what we do politically. Christians become sidled up with Mormons because we're going for what is good.
Yes.
But none of that's true.
Yeah.
And it's just operating in this world, and that's why we've made a strong line between the Spirit of Christ victoriously abiding in people who love Him, and the spirit of man, which governs this world. And Mormons are focused on doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we maybe get into something else, what is true?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, because to me, if something is true, it has to be absolutely unwavering, eternal, and will not bend or break in any direction ever. It only true, because that's how, your aim is true.
Yeah.
Your aim is true, or either it's not.
Yeah.
If it's not, you're going to miss the mark. So it has to be dead center true. And that's why I think the only truth that we can really claim in this world is Christ, because He said, I'm the way, the truth, the truth. He gave Himself that title. He's unwavering. He does not change. They say the church is true. No, the church is not true.
It makes me wonder, actually, I don't know if this is the place to really talk about this, but
Of course it is.
I don't know. There's a lot that I'd like to talk about that you've written out, but
Well, if you feel...
I would say it's the word that's true.
The
Just
word.
based on the, truth. Truth is eternal, and Christ, based on what we're understanding in His ontology or whatever, is not, His flesh is not eternal.
No.
So
It is now, though.
It is now, and we go off, and that change that happened means everything, but the word, God is true.
Yeah. And that's what He was saying, what's in me, because obviously, like you pointed out, His flesh died.
Yeah, when He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life, He was not deified yet.
Right. So He wasn't talking about His flesh.
Yeah.
However, it was His flesh that was going to... It was what was in Him that was true, but His flesh would ultimately conform to that truth perfectly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So He merged with it.
Yeah. But when people say the church is true, it is just so repulsive in terms of Mountain Meadows Massacre, polygamy, blacks in the priesthood, false priesthood, control, dominion over people. Those things are not eternally true. And that makes these poor LDS people think that if they drink a cup of coffee, God is going to be mad at them.
Yeah.
And it's such a prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The change, and it's funny because Christians really criticize Mormons for their changing things, but it's comical because Christians change all the time.
Of course.
But that, I think, is what we're pulling apart, is what is, I think the spirit of man and spirit of Christ are defined by being situated in time versus situated outside of time. And that's what people would say is truth, is whatever is outside of time.
Oh, okay.
And outside of circumstance. Truth is
Right.
consistent and never changing.
Yeah.
And religion makes so many things that aren't.
Right.
Like Christ even, or what a woman and a man are,
Everything.
in relation to God, or all murder and how good it is, and all these things are definitely changing culturally. So I think you've been really working to figure that out.
And we're going to do a show on that later, I think we can show kind of a laundry list of reasons why, outside of eschatology, that religion is contrary to God. And there are so many ways that it works contrary to him and his truth.
Yeah.
And so we'll do a show on that later.
Good.
But for the time being,
Yeah.
you know, besides Disney and lobster and Mexican food and Mormonism being good, none of them are true.
Yeah.
I cannot rely on any of them to get me into the heavenly kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's what LDS people, really from our hearts, from the heart of our family, need to know is there's nothing outside of God that's going to get you into the kingdom.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So get free now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the topic for tonight, like, I think Mormons have a really specific way of like implementing that goodness structurally.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of thinking on it. So do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's ingenious. And this is the part where Smith was deeply moved and inspired by the spirit of man. He was a syncretist. He was able to pull from any place, anywhere, and amalgamate it into his system in a way that works. And then those who followed in after him, Brigham Young and other leaders, have done the same. But if you step back, that is good because their organization really thrives in this world.
Yeah.
Materially, right? But the subtext to what they're doing is really quite sinister. And yet many people don't see the sinister nature of that subtext. In the end, I assign to it something I call social Darwinism. And now social Darwinism, I looked it up. It was a movement that took Darwinism and applied it to social situations. And it said the fittest are the best. And those who are not fit socially, economically, physically, they are worse. And so, and then over time it became known as a farce, you know, because that's just not the way life is. There's people who don't have any money who are really valuable people. But Mormonism, in its theology and practice and culture, is absolutely practicing social Darwinism. And I think that's kind of just a right out the gate thing to point out to people who've never really thought about it and think it's just good and therefore it's of God.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So ways that they do that begin at birth. You're either born in the covenant with parents who were sealed, or you're not. That's right off the bat.
Yeah.
If you were born in the covenant, the teachings have always been, unless they've changed them, that you were valiant in a premortal life. If you were born white, if you were born English speaking, you were valiant before. So if you were born white, English speaking, and into the Mormon church, you have come in vetted ahead of someone who converts. So one of the first questions Mormons will always ask are, did you convert? Or are you born in the family? We see the prophet today just admitted that they've lowered the age of the female missionaries, to be 18, the same as the boys, in hope that their romance and marriages will start earlier. That's social Darwinism. They are putting them together in a confined space of morality, putting them together in a shared commune of thought and practice, and them in that environment of utter bliss because they don't have to work or anything else. All they got to do is share the gospel. They fall in love. Under a false pretense. They don't know each other really well. And it's all because I think the Latter-day Saints know that their converts, they stay around much shorter than those who were born in the covenant.
Yeah.
So they want marriages to get their numbers back up through kids.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
So much sense. Just the fact that you prescribe the valiance of a person before as associated with it immediately makes leaving so hard, because for instance, or like you did something wrong in your life and that's why you're out of the church now. It's not that you came to truth.
Right.
It's so insane.
It's sinister. It's cult-like, and it's one of those methodologies that subtextually is used throughout the church.
Yeah.
It's always what's wrong with the person.
Yes.
And I'll admit there was everything wrong with me compared to the Mormon order.
Yeah.
No problem. But I left it not because of that. I left because, got a library card.
But that's why you start with that when you talk to people. It's like there's a lot of ways you could present your story, and you always say I couldn't I couldn't fit in. I couldn't
just take it off that thing, so you can judge me ahead of time, which they do, and they say, well, I've never done that, so I'm good. Another vetting system. Now that carries with you throughout your life. Their thing called their records. So they have this incomprehensible record system where they record everything. And so they know the youth, they know the parentage of the youth, they know the family, they know if they had problem with sex, they know if they obeyed the word of wisdom, they know a kid all the way till they go to the mission. And then in the mission, there's a record of what they were like. Did they obey the rules? Were they good? Were they a leader? All of this is because they just keep, you see this temple, the spire, that's what Masonry brought to Mormonism. It brought this, we take bad men and make them good, we take good men and make them better. And that's what the system is constantly doing.
Yeah.
So they also do it through interviews, starting when you're a kid. Go in and see the bishop, and he takes notes, and he's writing down all about the kid. I guarantee you will never find a bad kid in the first presidency or the apostles. They played the game from the start, having the right family. Everything builds up to where, and all these guys who think they're going to be put into the top echelons on North Temple, these stake presidents, and you can see them at the local level. They really think they are moving up. I knew a bishop who every general conference came to Salt Lake in order to be an usher at general conference among the brethren, because he wanted to climb up that ladder so damn badly.
Oh my gosh.
That he's a dentist down in Southern Cal, he's a bishop, but he never could make the grade. And it's just like this system that they're churning you through. Another thing that they do is they have ward boundaries. And people say, well, that's for organization, because a bishop needs to know who's in his flock and where they live. He lives in those boundaries. They do too. But the fact of the matter is, it's socioeconomic and it's spiritually based.
Yeah.
You don't, and why would that be? I'm doing all the talking.
No. This is what you know. But there was just a feeling if someone was of a different class and they came into your ward.
Yeah, it's a caste system. It's straight up caste system.
I really liked your note on that at the LDS caste system.
Yeah, it's
is a thing.
And in India, you are stuck in that caste system. In Mormonism, you're stuck. Now, there's ways that you can rise above it. You can get an advanced degree, you can get a good job, you can marry in the temple, you can go on a mission. These are some standard things that help you rise above your caste system level, but they will never, ever receive you if you have any marks to the contrary. That's the system. So if you are serving in the church thinking you're going to move up the ranks because of your holiness or something, if you are, unless you're a token black, a token Hispanic, because there's so many now in the world.
And you do it right.
And you do it right.
Do it their way, not your way culturally.
So what that is there's always a superiority. There's a superiority. And so we could call this show Mormonism and spiritual Darwinism, or we could call it how the practice of cultural evolution works within the LDS Church. And then when you get to the ward, let's say you're a married couple. First thing, where did you grow up? What were your callings? Were you ever in leadership? Did you go on a mission? What did you do there?
What were your parents?
What were your parents?
Yeah.
My parents were converts. Oh, but you
Yeah.
so you get a little. Everything is measured.
Yeah.
And so their leaders are really trained to spot successful people and to put them in the right place, because this organization is a world organization. People say that's of God. Bull crap. Jesus came and he served the opposite community. It was the people that the Mormons are raising up that Christ had the problem with.
Yeah.
And yet they think that is what is good.
Yeah. It has to be said too that success in terms of Mormonism is willing to play that game.
Oh yeah.
Because like there are things like clearly the bishops and they all have problems. Like they
Sure.
do bad things, but they're hidden.
They're hidden.
So like they do the right bad things.
That's
and
right.
They don't do the wrong bad things.
So what, in your estimation, are some of those they do good bad things versus bad things? This is light and dark.
The good bad things that they do in their eyes are like corporate greed, heavily,
greed
like
is huge.
judgment, like the pride and judgment of others,
Right. And
like
then where does
not
that
the grace
where
of
does that come from? It comes from the system of merit.
Yes,
And because
yeah.
they've merited, then they look down at others as trying.
Yeah.
And then the people above them, they hero worship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, there's a lot. I think sexual stuff gets dismissed easily.
It's hidden.
Or abuse,
Yeah.
like familial, domestic
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, that's the old fig leaf game. In the church, you're a really good guy. At home, you're a tyrant.
Yeah.
And but they're watching that too.
Yeah.
One thing about their leadership, though, is they don't seem to care if you have kids who have gone south, because most of them have. They don't have the contiguous family of all servile kids. So they know that there's a sacrifice sometimes with that, and they give that a pass, which is fascinating. They are constantly seeing if you're willing and worthy and obedient.
Yeah.
That is part of the caste system. So they will say you can't drink coffee. It's just a test of your willingness to be obedient. They'll say it's just used as a measurement to see where you are. It really has nothing to do with the coffee.
Yeah.
But in factuality, it does have to do with the coffee.
Yeah, like because it morphs.
Yeah.
Like it's because of the way it morphs, it makes it about the thing.
Yeah.
Versus the principle.
Yeah.
Oddly, like you'd think it'd be the opposite, but.
And I've been thinking about this concept is they make holy things that are not holy, and they make unholy things that should be holy. And it's really diabolical.
Yeah.
I used to go to the stake dances where they're playing AC/DC, and the kids are going nuts in the gym, and I'm thinking, I don't get this.
Yeah.
Why do they allow this?
Yeah.
And they know we're going to go out and we're going to respond to all these hormones that we have fed for an hour and a half in the gym. And is it a test to see who will not do it? I mean, do they set us up and play Satan or something?
Yeah.
They also, they are constantly, they won't say God. Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
It's not unholy to say God. That's not even his name.
Yeah.
But they've made it holy. They make the Sabbath day holy.
Yeah.
There's no Sabbath day.
Yeah.
So it puts them in a distinct way of living in this world, like no coffee. That's irrelevant. And no tea. But like the bishop said, well, use THC. That's okay. It's just fascinating how they manipulate. What you read is super big, and that's why the internet is crushing them. What you watch, right? It's unholy to see Schindler's List,
Yeah.
but it's okay to go see a PG-13 movie about Beavis destroys his high school. They make holy the unholy, and they make unholy the holy.
Yeah, definitely.
Constant. What you wear, your haircuts, things like that. They have those extensive notes. They provide bread and circus, as it says of the Romans. They have constant entertainment. That's Mormon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
entertainment.
true.
They love Mormon entertainment. Harkens back to Brigham Young.
Yeah.
So and that looks like they're really cool.
Yeah.
But it's horrible.
I know, and it traps, like, people I know are trapped in it because, and it really is the equating of good and true, because they do so much to provide for my kids.
Yes.
Like a community. Or
yes.
Like, they go out and serve. They do, like,
missions.
Yeah.
All of it. Volunteerism. It's an amazing amalgamation of dark and light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So also there's your parental factors. You're constantly being judged by your parents' worthiness.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it, and I experienced that. They have advanced decline models. Are you advancing in the priesthood? Are you advanced? It's always important to advance to get up that spire, and or are you going this way? And you're just a number, truly. You do not matter to them unless you are going to be able to be used, be willing to be used, be obedient to being used. Anything besides that, you're being puppeted.
Yeah.
And these poor members cannot see it.
Yeah.
And then those marriages are really funny. That in the Mormon Church, they start off really young, sequestering themselves from the unwashed. Because Mom and I were more liberal, the stalwart families never let their kids spend the night with the McCraneys. And they'd say, obviously, look what would happen. The kids who did, they've left the church. That's because they got their brains open and started thinking. But the stalwarts, they stay orbiting with the other stalwarts, more social Darwinism, so that they can raise up a pure breed of righteousness. Yeah. And then there's the constant qualifying. You have to qualify constantly. Every day you're qualifying. Sundays, fast Sundays, did you drink the water?
Yeah.
What are you wearing? Did you get a tattoo? So you're constantly under the inspection of qualifying.
Yeah.
Well, what would be the good side of being in an environment like that? I'm putting you on the spot. If you come into an environment, like you are an alcoholic like Glenn Beck, or you come from the other side of the tracks and you want something good. This is my mom and dad.
Yeah.
They came in from the other side of the tracks and thought, we've entered into heaven.
Yeah. Because I'm just really thinking a lot about how ingrained this is in, like, you and I, at least, the way that, I don't know, just the correlation of purity and goodness with truth. Yeah, I guess it is deeper in me than I expected, because questioning feels so wrong. Like, questioning or exploring or being liberal and accepting, like, those things are really hard to do for us, as surprising as that may sound. Like, it's like
because you feel guilty.
You feel really, really bad for it. Yeah. Like,
and that's why what's his name said, when the brethren have spoken, the thinking has been done. The thinking's been done. He literally said that. And that's why it goes so contrary to what God has made us to do. How could there be any honor in just following orders of another man or system, thinking the way they tell you to think, never challenging it, testing it by any exterior stuff, and thinking that's God's will?
Yeah. I know. They were like, I don't know if you feel this way, but do you feel this way, that sometimes I feel like I am the exact example of what I used to think was a really bad person.
Of course.
And like, it's really hard. I'm like emotional.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to, because you're like, that's what you used to look at and be like, that's the warning, or that's the like example, of someone that like went off the tracks or whatever. And it's scary because they associate it with God. Like, and we can't even say for sure that this is true. Like, what they say it's true for sure, which is what's insane. But we're trying to figure God out still.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And it takes courage to be able to spit into the wind, because it blows right back in your face. And so they know that about people. And they know that there's so many people who want to please God.
Yeah.
And so the natural thing is those people to think that that means being good.
Yeah.
And so they enforce what being good looks like through all their manipulations. But in reality, it's in the heart of those people. If you strip away all the Darwinism that they're using to get them better and better and better, you strip that away from somebody, and I've seen this dozens of times in the ministry, and they are left without anything to stand on.
Yeah, definitely.
So they turn to the dark things that were always forbidden. They feel more guilty, they feel liberated, and then they become followers of John Delaney and RFM and Bill Reel, and they have this liberated, I was once a Mo. All they can do is talk about it. They never grow in a spiritual way.
Yeah.
They just keep playing to that, and so they're still in that broken system.
Yeah.
And it's still controlling them, and that's something that they are promised in the temple. That Satan says to them, if you don't live up to every covenant that you make in this temple this day, you will be in my power.
Yeah.
So when they make that oath in the temple, and then they decide to leave it, and their life starts to fall apart, because they're not in prison anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
They then think, I should go back. And that's why we have idiots going back to it.
Yeah, and no one sees that as like very obvious. Like, that's another level of the spiritual Darwinism, is that the predictions of what will happen are all like things that would just happen in this world.
That's right.
When you leave a group, you're probably going to have trouble, and you're probably not going to be as financially successful, and you're probably not. And then they say that that's Satan.
That's right.
That's like what's so, like, they predict it, and it is true. Those things happen, but it's not because it's Satan.
Right.
It's because you're leaving a really tight system, and it's hard to survive outside of a system.
Yeah, especially in a place where most of the people are in that system.
Yeah.
So when they this is like the state of Utah and Idaho are like one giant ward boundary.
Yes, yeah.
And so they socially engineer that way. It's ingenious how effing sinister it is.
I know. I'm like, can't help but think though that this is every system. Like,
it is.
You started, Mormons are so like proficient at it, and it's probably the most diabolical of them all because it's like the degree of connecting something to God is how diabolical it is. And the Mormons are the most enmeshed,
right?
So that's why they're the worst.
Yeah.
But it is any system of thought, like the quotes that you wrote at the start, anything that not organizes mind, or not organizes will and emotion, but things that organize mind function off of all of these same things.
They're all bad religion.
Spiritual Darwinism. Yeah.
And so we see it in government, and we're appalled by it. We see it like with studies on cults, like Chinese cults and stuff. I get all that, and I understand how that happens in the human realm. My problem is that when God is brought into it, that's why it is most sinister. Because that is a space in us that we don't really know. I agree. But some of them associate it with truth. Like it's essentially saying God, the degree of religiosity
that they are like prescribing to. I would say like liberals and conservatives
Either
are
way.
both operating as if God's behind them, even though they don't use the name God. Well, conservatives do, but
Right.
you know,
Sure.
like truth is being attached to it in
Right.
a way that's like you're evil. Like in the same way, it's good but not true.
Truth,
like
it's truth and good. It's like in 30 Rock where what's his name is always joking about the Republican haircut.
Yeah.
That if you don't have the right haircut as a Republican, oh, you're getting a little bit edgy here, right? You're exactly right. It's all there. It's all in the same thing. That's why we are against group think.
yeah.
Entirely against groupthink. We are for individual thought. We're not against united will. We're not against united
Yeah.
emotions. All for it.
Those are the things that are this world. Yeah, it's like united mind is really the problem.
Yeah.
I've wanted to ask too, in the face of that,
There's more, but we keep going.
interrupting?
Yeah.
That like so often, like we get this comment like this is a cult,
Us.
we get the comment on a 30-second clip of you deconstructing a religious thing that it's a cult.
Yeah.
I cannot get my head around. I'm asking them like genuinely what makes you say that? Like liberating someone's mind from the control of their religious thinking
Yep.
is called being a cult.
Liberating them from financial obligation, liberating them from volunteerism, mandatory, liberating them from cultural affectation.
Yeah.
You got to be this, you got to be. It's because they know they can kill us by using that. And so it's a thought-killing cliche that
It
other
is.
groups that are guilty of it
Yeah,
use.
like you said it, you articulated it at the start of this show. That is, we are working on cults.
Yeah.
We're trying to get people to
Out of
see
religious cults.
Yeah, like, but we're called the cult.
Yeah. It's because
I do not get it.
they
I
think
can't
it's
figure it
because
out.
I'm charming and we have an audience that I really
Well,
used to make laugh.
I get that. Like, your personality is one thing.
That doesn't make a cult.
It
Everybody
doesn't
has
at
a
all.
personality.
I know. Like that's like the cult of personality is a separate thing. But I think there are people that are saying it's an actual, like the words being spoken when you're saying like maybe a Mormon can go to heaven, maybe a Jew can go to heaven. Like those words, you say that in a video and they say you're in a cult.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
Frustrating, isn't it?
What? Yeah.
It's
I don't
almost
get it.
like homophobia. It's like if you're homophobic, it's because you're secretly a homosexual, they used to say.
Oh, yeah.
So if
you're in a cult,
if you're blaming people of being a cult, you are
it kinda
probably the
is
cult.
Like that. Yeah, it kind of is like that.
Yeah. You're so fearful about what you are and doing, you can't wait to put it on somebody else.
Yeah, because it's the people from cults that are always calling cults out.
Yeah.
Like the most gnarly religious people are calling the most loose, like spiritual people, cults.
Yeah.
Which is, that's really what it is.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. I got to bring it up. You should check out. This is a shameful plug for Check My Church, which we don't always do. But Sarah Young is a integral part of our think tank, and she runs with Joe Check My Church, and they've been going after Jeff Durbin, who has been the loudest screamer, him and James White, of us being a cult. And they do it because we called ourselves Christian Ultra Libertarians for Truth.
That's the dumbest.
But it's their clarion repeated song about us.
Yeah.
And yet today, Durbin, and Apologia Church is in trouble for their cult-like manipulations.
It's so
Case in point.
crazy.
Who's the real cult here? Right?
Like,
Durbin?
Who is the cult? I hate talking about this guy. Like, he deserves no breath of mine. But like, who's the cult? Someone who marches outside of an abortion clinic and is in lawsuits with people like
for revealing
as a
information,
church, or
controlling their marriages,
Yeah.
controlling their how they raise children, controlling what they believe, vetting them for their beliefs, putting them under law. That guy is a cult leader, and yet he has been calling us a cult. And
The people who
I don't care, Jeff. Be a cult leader. We don't care.
Yeah, whatever. But like every single week we engage in disagreement with the people in this room and let them, like, there's literally not one rule. There's not even a group. Like, it's just funny.
And she's touching on something so huge around us now. As you go on with the social Darwinism and Mormonism, there's a virtue. I mean, you know who's a virgin and who's not.
Yeah.
You know,
this is why I bring up the cult thing, is because this is so
it's cult-like behavior.
Cult-like.
Yeah.
But when you leave it like you are in a cult, and what you were just describing, how it's of Satan or whatever, like the mechanisms of a group when you leave it are to call you what it is.
Yeah.
So virtue.
And the thing is, they use lies and deception because cults always protect themselves ahead of the individual. Always.
Yeah,
so they use lies and deception. Yeah. People are bemoaning Jeffrey Holland. Oh, I loved him. That guy was a liar. He was a straight up liar. And yet they hold him up as this apostle of the Lord. The guy lied. They've caught him in lies. Lies as a believer. How do you lie as a believer? I know making a mistake, but as a leader who says they're Christian, who lies, what do you guys need?
Yeah.
You know, walk from that leader.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that what it is? You're defending the system before the person. I think that's
they always defend the system before the person. Yeah. And because that is a teleological law in this world you have to do to survive.
Yeah, which in Christian terms it could be defending the doctrine before the person.
Right.
Or defending
doctrine, practice.
Yeah, there's lots of keep going.
Okay. And you know, occupational stratas. You'll never see an apostle who owned Jim Bob's plumbing factory in Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Yeah.
These guys are top of their game, and they take the top cream of the crop to govern strategically, technically. They own the internet. I mean, they saw right away how powerful that is. You type in anything, and it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You don't think they're a world power? Now, again, I'm going to say this to our audience. If you want to have something that works for you in this life, that you like and enjoy and is good, have at it. But if you want to know God, run.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You don't know God. You know the Mormons' version of God, and it's a joke from the first vision on out to today. I know I'm fiery on it, but I cannot stand people I love being tricked by phony men in suits.
Yeah, and it's always about institutions, the people who are defensive of the institution, not just seekers that are in the church, whatever.
And guess what a big Darwinistic practice is? Tithes.
Oh, geez.
They know how much you've given. They know how often you've done it. And if you haven't done it, you pay to play in that church. That is not Christ. That's not Christianity. And you can be offended in your sensibilities. You can say that I'm hateful. I'm just speaking the truth. We are trying to uncover. They will use everything, everyone in the best way they can to bless the institution, while they will throw the bodies of the weak right out the door in the way they treat them, in the way they help them. Everything is conditional. And I just wanted to say that in the show today.
So to recap, so you're calling it spiritual Darwinism. Yeah.
Social, spiritual.
Is the mechanism that the LDS use to survive as the fittest, organization, survival of the fittest, keep their their constituents the fittest.
Yeah.
And all of these things that you just listed are the ways they do that. I wanted to ask, do you think, like, in learning more about the evolution of Mormonism, I don't know if that's at the core of what Joseph Smith did. He started it with Freemasonry, but like it seems like there was a stage where they like really ramped it up when they became like super Americanized.
Yeah, that's a really good observation. Absolutely. Yeah. They go through a phase that many religions will go through. They start with a shaman. That was Smith. He was a visionary. He looked into hats to see rocks. He came up with this weird book, and he was a shaman. They couldn't control him. He drank alcohol. He had other wives. Then you get into kind of an organizational period. That's Brigham Young. He stepped in and he gave it the structure of what Smith laid forward. And then you enter a clerical phase, and that's where everything's systematized down so that you can replicate it like a McDonald's. They went into their clerical phase like in the 70s. And buildings started to reflect each other.
Standardization.
And standardization, right. And that's the decline of something before it falls in the cycle of these things. So Mormonism is on the precipice of decline, and they don't know how to handle it. That's why we are saying we have a package to help you exist truthfully in doctrine, get rid of your bondage and your BS, retain people who really love God, and move forward into the next generation. Or you can continue to live off your billions and billions of dollars, beguiling the stalwart, kicking anybody who refuses you to the curb, and trying to govern this world through material manipulation. And I think it's going to be the latter. I would believe with any amount of money, homosexuality is going to be fine within Mormonism someday. They're going to have to do it. Women will have their priesthood. They are too evolving. There's too much. They're going to do more and more to accommodate this world, because this is the world in which they govern. And if you want to be part of this world system, have at it. Yeah, there's no better church to join. You know, they'll tell you every answer, they'll give you everything you need, and all you got to do is not go against them.
All you have to do is not think. That's
not
why
think. Not
like, they'll give
think.
You the answers.
Right.
And thinking inherently becomes a guilt-inducing act afterward, which is
soul-crushing.
So gnarly.
Yeah. And then one final thing, Smith's whole thing was to bring heaven to earth. And so therefore, materialization of somebody's life is far more important to a Mormon than spiritualization of their life. If you have somebody who is materially defunct, broke, doesn't have a great material life, but really knows the scripture, they'll use them a little bit, but they are nobodies in the material system where the rich, proud, married, strong families rise to the top to govern. That's how they work.
Yeah, it's a good point, because like Larry, my husband, converted to Mormonism on his own as a high schooler, and the way it sounds, they were like, he was like a focus.
Oh, sure.
So like it isn't always like they go against their own rules sometimes, because he's a convert. He wasn't born in the but like he could become something that was really useful to them. And so, but if you're a born in the covenant 5th generation and you're just kind of not useful, they probably won't pay attention to you. So they even go against their own.
They do. They'll go against anything.
Yeah.
Finally, you know what else? That mission thing is ingenious. Smith had it down. He immediately sent people to the British Isles. Why? Because you start to get people to convert to the religion, then you cull their mind bank of the people, and you bring the minds of people over, and you steal those minds for your good. So missions are teaching, Mormons are going off and learning languages and converting the best people who love good from those economies into it. It's a world power. It's a used for good, but it's no difference in its totalitarian methods than communism. The darkest form of communism.
Yeah. they're all the same.
Yeah. And the top gets all the cream. The bottom does not. I don't know how it still exists, and it's only because you people are just, they just don't want to think. They're lazy. They want what works for them. And have fun, man. How could you respect anybody who sticks to something just because it works for them? I can't, it compared to something that is better, true, or right.
I think you're really unique in it, actually. I think most people work that way.
God, it's pathetic.
I know.
I'd rather live in the gutter, bleeding from my throat, than buy anything. Okay, have we gone over time? Next week,
but we should,
we have some other things we have a lot to talk about in this format. Delaney's been a little quiet because I kind of came up with this outline because it's been on my chest. But next week, we're going to bring more of her immaterial architecture in to help you understand what we're offering, how this is different, and why it's freaking good. It's good and pretty close to truth. Not entirely.
Maybe
we're not
good
true.
And true.
Good and true. Like good and plenty.
Wow.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.